keep telling us, well, it's not trivial to analyze these things because it's hard to figure out the path of light and what we're looking at, blah, blah, blah. Can you just get to the point? We're looking for a measurement of a curved ocean. Any confirmation that we live on the globe, please.
Right. How about
let me offer you something else. How about
measuring horizontal angles between
No, man. No, we don't want that. No, fuck that. No. Exactly. Because that's not exactly what Heritage just said, bro. That's what we don't want nothing else. Don't try to sell us on some other stuff.
You're not accepting that the method that you're using is insufficient and subject to an error. You're not accepting
because you are saying so because
errors or
you're saying so.
Or how those errors influence that observation,
No.
and you're not willing to accept any other kind of observation, and you want to stick to that.
Which other one? There's no other one other than direct. Listen, there's no other.
You are going to be stuck with an unfalsifiable worldview or an unconfirmable worldview.
There's no other one. There's no other one. The only one that you have
is evidently not sufficient.
But based on who? On you? Based on
based on the facts.
What facts, bro? You didn't bring up any facts.
Based on what we know about the air, how refraction.
No. You don't know. You don't know about refraction. You don't know. Okay, so what? Now, what's refraction? What's refraction?
What we know about geometry and in the
what's
values that we're given for example, the radius of Earth.
What's refraction?
Based on that, we can calculate that what you're trying to do here is not sufficient.
What's refraction?
Refraction is the phenomenon of light changing direction when it changes either from upon coming onto a boundary from one medium to another, or within a single medium that changes.
No. You're not gonna catch. It's not. No. That's
a single medium that changes its optical density.
That's a violation of the law of non-contradiction, brother.
It is not.
Yes, it is. It is not multiple.
It is not. Refraction.
Listen, bro.
Gradient optics.
All right, I have to shut you up. Yeah, you can't say there's two things at once. It's not multiple and singular at the same time. No, sir. You're not gonna have it both ways. It's either one medium crossing a boundary to the next, or it's actually multiple mediums. You're gonna have to pick one of those, and I'm gonna have to ask you to pick one. It's not both. You're not getting away with that. Absolutely not. Either the air is multiple mediums or it's only one. You got only those two options right there. But you're going to have to choose. And that's the only thing I want you to do is choose from one of those. Which is it? One medium or multiple?
Gradient optics does exist.
You were just talking through the mute, weren't you?
You didn't hear a word you said.
No, I wasn't.
All right. So is the air one medium or multiple mediums?
What doesn't matter?
I want you to answer honestly right now. Is it one medium or?
How is that relevant?
Answer the question. Is it one medium or multiple?
You can tell me how it's relevant.
It's because we're gonna talk about Snell's law in just a moment. So answer the question.
No, we're not.
You're just gonna refuse? You're just gonna.
No, it's not relevant.
I can just answer the question, bro. Why are you so afraid?
Obviously, gas does not. Obviously, air does not form boundaries within itself, and therefore Snell's law does not apply. That does not.
All right then.
That does not disprove. That does not disprove.
Yeah, it does.
That does not.
Yeah, it does.
That does not disprove. That does not disprove that light undeniably reflects in air.
Thank you. You just shellacked yourself.
Mayhem, can I ask you a question, please?
Shellacked yourself, bro.
Mayhem, I would like to ask you a question.
What?
All right.
What?
Are you suggesting that light does not refract in air?
Refract in air? What are you talking about, bro? What are you saying? Come on, give me the scoop.
Yes or no? Are you suggesting that light does not refract in
I'm
air?
not suggesting anything. I want to hear what you're on about.
Yes
what
or
are you
no?
talking about?
Are you suggesting that light
I'm not
does
suggesting,
not refract
dumbass.
in air?
I told you I'm not suggesting. I asked you the question if air is multiple mediums or one, and you just clarified it's only one.
Mayhem, yes or no?
I'm
does
not.
Light refract in air? Yes or no?
Bro, I'm not gonna tell you again. I didn't suggest shit. So for you,
Mayhem, yes or no? Does light refract in air?
I'm not gonna ask, bro. I didn't suggest shit. So
Mayhem, does light refract in air? Yes or no?
I didn't suggest it, so you better.
Never mind. Does irrelevant. If you
All
suggested
right.
it or not, just give me an answer. Where do you stand?
I
Does
stand
light
that
refract
I
in air? Yes or
no,
no? Give
I'm
me a
telling
yes or no.
I'm standing right now where I understand that if you're going to use Snell's law and invoke it, like you say, with I'm
I'm
laying it out for you, bro. That's what I'm doing. So with Snell's law, if you're saying that light is crossing two boundaries, two media, then you're going to have it refract like the way it should. It's going to act in accordance to the understood law as the law of refraction, and you'd have the change between those two media, and you're going to see a difference in the exchange from the first media to the second, which is going to cause that visual change. It's going to look like something different is occurring. Like, for example, right? If you're saying that a straw goes in through a glass of water, well, once you do that, you're going to see that refraction or the law of refraction taking place, meaning that that straw is going to look like as it passes the boundary of water, like it shifts and moves into a different location, but it didn't really. It's just the optical view of it. So, in that, when you see that take place, that's what you're going to see happening all the time, and that's how Snell's law or refraction, as you so put it, would be operating, and light would be acting in accordance to that. So I didn't say anything outside of what I know to be true. However, that's it. I'm not. I didn't suggest shit. This is exactly the way it works. You can look it up for yourself, and I truly know that's exactly what's understood for all humans everywhere. So there's nothing to debate here. It's exactly how Snell's law works. Refraction is in accordance to that understanding, and like you said, you just debunked yourself when you said it's not multiple mediums, it's one, and you're falling in line with the two. I don't know what beef you're on about. What are you saying now? 'Cause that's exactly what it is, though. Refraction that you
I
keep in.
never said anything that is in conflict with that. So,
Okay.
according to what you just laid out with how it works, which I agree with in itself, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Answer me this following question, please. Does light refract in air? Yes or no?
In air, what is the context?
No context.
Well,
That
I
is
It
the
mean,
has
do
to
question.
go
you,
through.
do you mean mirages? Do you
It
mean
has,
does light
it has
mirage
to,
in air?
it has to go through.
No.
It has to go through a different medium. I just outlined it for you. Why are you trying to
So,
make another example out
so
of the?
when you're saying, okay, just so that I completely understand you correctly, you said it has to go through a different medium in order to refract.
Yes.
Is it logically correct for me to then therefore conclude that you are saying no, light cannot refract in air itself?
Refraction does occur, but it uses the air, the medium of air, to go through another boundary, and then once it does enter another
No,
boundary, then
just air without another medium.
you need another medium for it to refract, dude. So
So light
that's
does
how.
not refract
Listen,
reflect. Wait,
listen. That's
so
how. That's how
wait a
fucking.
second.
Yeah,
Mayhem,
that's how
mayhem.
glasses
Just
work, bro.
just to lead this to its logical conclusion,
Refracted
okay?
lenses, like that's what you need. You need a lens. Fucking. That's how you.
All right, mayhem. Just to lead this to its logical conclusion, if light needs another medium to refract, then light cannot refract in just air itself.
Yeah, you have other natural phenomena that occur in light, and it's not
Like what?
refraction that's taking place. So, if you're talking about like mirages and such like that, that is not like what you would consider refraction. It's
What is it
considered,
then?
huh?
What is it then?
I think that's what you're going on about. You want to actually talk about that phenomenon, the natural phenomena of like mirages,
No,
and
no, no, not necessarily with mirages, but we can also talk about that. What is the phenomenon of none of mirages then? How is it that? How is that
no, it's
caused?
air turbulence, man. It's like the ambient air temperature affecting the viewer and distorting the viewer from seeing things in the far distance. And it's also what people commonly think that is considered refraction, and it's not.
How is it
That's
not okay? And it's not
that's not
refraction
refraction.
because
It's
it's
not
this disturbance, it's turbulence.
air
But
turbulence or
how does
distortion.
that work?
He wants you to describe his he wants you to make the argument of whatever refraction means under the comprehension that is in the globe fantasy. So he's
Yeah,
trying to rail you to make an argument for him, and then he's gonna be like, no, what you're saying is incorrect because
No, I'm just trying
this
to
and this and that.
understand here. Because I
Bro,
do
you're
not
just
understand
playing
how
games.
mirages
Everybody knows
a
you in here at Pasco.
phenomenon,
You're just playing games. Stop being dishonest, dude.
special, how air turbulence is this phenomenon for light in itself. I don't understand how this works. How
You
this is
don't
completely
understand how this
separate
works. You've been
from
under
Earth
this
velocity.
argument for years and years, and you're just gonna play the fool now.
Maybe he thinks the horizon's a mirage.
Understanding completely how this phenomenon is understood or claimed
Go
to be.
read about it.
Yes.
Go read about it.
Well,
It's
when
not-
I read about it, I'm going to read about refraction. So
Yeah,
that
but the
does not work.
refraction is only Snell's law, bro. There's no other derivative.
Correct.
No, you're incorrect. Okay, listen. If you want to disprove the law of refraction, then you better bring your fucking A game, because there is nothing out there that no one has except for these other anti-flat earthers that want to they want to talk about some guy who figured out there's a more advanced version of refraction and shit. There is not. There's only the law of refraction, which has been discovered by Snell's law. Dude, that everybody knows this. You guys are living in a fantasy world trying to conjure up some magical refraction, terrestrial refraction, as a matter of fact, that has 7/6 arc baked into the formula already, that presupposes a globe Earth. No, I'm not. Dude, I'm actually
Yes, you
speaking to
are.
the point of why you
You're
want
right.
it to be true. You want terrestrial refraction to be true so that you can make your globe Earth fantasy reality. And it's not going to. It's never will be. Ever. I'm not gish galloping. I'm actually to the point. That's why you really want me to describe terrestrial refraction. It's not going to happen. That is that's just the wrong idea, first of all. You can't even think of refraction being that way, because they have a formula already input into this equation of terrestrial refraction, presupposing the Earth is a globe already with a R value in it. If you don't believe me, man, go look it up, and you're gonna see for yourself that in the values that are there, the formula, it's in there for refraction. And you're gonna be like, dude, we have the R value, and like, because you guys always do that. You always act like it's no big deal, and it's the big freaking deal. It's like, why is it in there? We don't even know if the Earth's a globe, and yet our value is baked into terrestrial refraction, like it's presupposed, like we already figured it out. We didn't figure it out. We're trying to figure out if it is refraction that's happening over a globe or not. How are we then putting it into the equation, bro? Like, you don't get that. That's what it's all about. This whole talk that you're trying to get to has all been about that. You're just trying to lay out terrestrial refraction as a true phenomenon, and it's not. Because first of all, you have to presuppose the Earth being a globe, and that is never going to happen because you don't have any direct measurement of Earth's curvature, which is what we told you from the beginning, which is what you stated you don't have. Bingo, bango, bongo.
I'm really sorry that you're so emotional about that, and that you
I know.
refuse to take a logical to take an analysis of the matter to its logical conclusion on its own merit. I'm really sorry that you're not capable or willing to do that, and I'm sorry. I know that this is long-winded and a frustrating process to go through something like that, but I think many people that reach the same conclusions as you do, and many people that make the similar realizations to the ones that you have made, should go through that process. It would be beneficial.
Process.
It would deepen
What
your
process?
understanding, and it would
What are you
increase the
talking about?
quality of information.
Master, you're just saying word salad, word after word after word that doesn't make any sense in context of the conversation.
I'm really sorry that
Hello,
your emotions are blocking your
You're
reason.
condescendingly gish galloping, bro, but you don't have a leg to stand on. It is what it is.
Sure. If you refuse to listen, then yes, there is
the
no
fact
leg to
probably
stand
don't
on.
know.
If you take away all the legs, if you take me out on the knee every
You don't
time,
have a leg. You have no standing. You have no argument, no standing. You don't even have a case. You're running away from your case and trying to have people in here make a case for you, so then you can take it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine talking about refraction all this time if you actually had globe measurements to talk about.
Exactly.
He's saying that you're taking the legs apart. He don't even have a leg to stand
by refraction, and it was refused.
Shut the fuck up.
What is
He said
dude,
he produced it. He said, this is coming. We can take a sound clip of the guy saying he doesn't have the information earlier. For those of you just tuning in, he just said that earlier. I don't have the measurements. Now he's saying, you wouldn't let me say it. What the fuck, dude?
You wouldn't let you say it. You waffled about everything
And
else.
Master has
because
been
you know
doing
that there's
this
no,
for
He knows
years.
there's no
Go ahead.
measurements to talk about, so he waffled about literally everything else to obfuscate the point. Everybody sees it, even the Globers in the chat saw it. So you're not helping your cause here.
Seriously, bro, just take a chill pill.
I'm all chill. It's all good. Flatwater, you wouldn't let me talk about it. Mayhem, you wouldn't let me talk about it. What I said
Well, I'm
is
letting you
that I don't
talk
have-
right now.
that I
I'm letting
don't
you
have
talk
the-
right now, and you're using your airtime to talk about this
Nigger.
instead of the one thing we care about.
Measurement of curvature, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
What I said is that I don't have
Like,
the
see-
results of those measurements, but I do
Ah!
have a method to bring to you.
Okay.
What is the method?
There's a claim? Okay, what is it?
Okay, so the claim is that if you take 3 different landmarks, right, and you measure the angle at each landmark horizontally between the other 2 landmarks. So
What's the
if
can
the
we get a
landmarks
distance
have
though? We don't even know where you're at. Give us a
different
distance,
elevations,
please.
if the landmarks have different elevations
Jeez.
to each other,
He
then
doesn't hear.
that would not change the measurement. That
Yeah.
would not change the angle, okay?
So no claim.
So
Okay.
when the statement is that if the vertical at all of those 3 locations are parallel to each other, then those 3 angles that we are measuring will add up to 180 degrees.
Over what distance?
Well,
degrees.
The area of the triangle that those 3 points are the
Right, on
vertices
Earth, right. So
should
on,
be-
if you're going to do
should
this
be-
in reality,
should
how
be-
big is this area? Is there a
should
claim
be-
to reality yet?
should be hundreds of square miles.
Hundreds of square miles. That's a tiny backyard in Arizona. What are you talking about?
Hundreds to thousands of square miles. Yes.
So okay, great. So if we see 1,000 miles away an object in linear path with
Not
the forward
1,000 miles
objects.
away. No. 10
Yeah,
miles,
that's
10
1,000 miles
10
away is a
miles
lot
times
more.
10
I know, relax.
10
I know,
miles is
princess, you're
already-
not letting me speak. I know, I just let you speak, and you're just you're going insane, bro. Listen, 1,000 miles flat, straight out, is a lot more than 1,000 square miles actually here in front of me. 1,000 miles distance is a greater distance than 1,000 square miles here in front of me. That distance, 1,000 miles, that's halfway across from Mexico to Canada. 1,000 miles. Yeah, 2,000 miles is Mexico to Canada. So what's the
No.
claim? Yes, the mountains in Canada are linear with the mountains here. So we just get people just interrupting as usual. Okay. Yep. They can't handle anything else. Okay. So no claim. So when you have a claim, let us know, bro. Yeah, everything's linear. Anything else?
All right. So the statement that I was making is that if if the verticals of those 3 landmarks are parallel to each other, then the angles that we measured, the horizontal angles add up to 180 degrees. Exactly. And then we have a statistical error, so what we would measure is a little bit under, a little bit over, but it would deviate around the 180s.
And how do we so how do we then falsify this ball Earth? So then how do we falsify? What would we watch this? What would we have to see? What would we have to see to falsify it? There's just never going to be a claim. Yes. What would we have to see to falsify it? Can you just give us a claim? Thank you.
I would
Nothing.
just like
It's
to
over.
finish what I was
It's
saying.
over. You'll never get an answer. There is no claim. These people are nuts, bro. They're just going to talk forever. Yo, no, Mayhem was right. No, I just wanted to prove. No, Mickey was right. These people are nuts. Yeah. Okay.
If you just start talking when I'm in the middle of when I'm talking, then I won't be able to hear what you're saying. Please wait until I'm finished talking, and then you can say what you're saying and ask what you're asking. All right.
Give us a
So
falsification criteria.
if the verticals at those 3 landmarks are not parallel though, for example diverge from each other, then the Earth would be a globe, and the angles that we measure would not add up to 180.
You don't even know
Would
logic
add
is.
up
Why
to
would that
more
necessarily
than
prove a globe? Why would that
180 degrees. So now I'm finished. It was not that long actually.
Why would that necessarily prove a globe, by the way? Prove any other shape
Pathetic.
to be within
Because
your
it
own
clearly
logic.
differentiates between a flat Earth and a globe.
Let me finish.
If it's flat,
Second of all,
the sum is 180.
The man asked you a question. What is your falsification criteria for your globe?
Well, in the method that I just described, it would be do the angles add up to 180 degrees exactly, or do they if they have to add up to more than 180 degrees if it is a globe, and even quantifiably. How much?
Well, I don't even understand. You said you have 3 parallel lines erected at 3 different elevations. You're measuring what angle?
All right, so that's why it was so unfortunate that I got interrupted so often. You're having 3 landmarks. They are apart from each other by tens of miles. And you're measuring the horizontal angle at every landmark between the other 2 landmarks. So if they are on different elevations to each other, that does not change the angle, the horizontal angle between them, because you're basically taking a vertical at the landmark, at each landmark, and then just measure the angle on this intersection of the planes, of the vertical planes, basically.
You've never done this.
Sorry, what?
You've never done this, and you don't have a device that
Indeed,
can
I haven't. I have not claimed that I have done
measure
it.
angles.
I don't
That's
even claim
correct.
that I
That's
know
correct.
those
Good point.
variables.
That's the point. Yeah, you not only have you never done this, you never will do anything. Probably. Gotta be honest with you.
Just
You don't have
ad hominem because you can't accept his argument.
Yeah, there
Objects
is
of
no
word.
argument. What's the argument? Go ahead. What's the
that-
argument again? Watch this. Restate his argument. Yeah, have a nice day.
Oh, wait,
A object.
let me.
What's his argument?
Yeah,
Objects are real? Go ahead.
Exactly.
Let us know what his
Yeah.
argument is. Oh, he left. Yeah, that was the argument. Him leaving. I guess that was supposed to be the argument.
Oh my gosh.
Have a
Oh,
nice
these
day,
poor
sir.
people.
So my
What's the
argument-
argument? Leaves the chat. That says it
Bro,
all.
listen, this is like I come to a car. It's like me going to the car dealership, and then I want to talk about the Toyotas next door. I'm looking at this Dodge Ram, but I'm going to talk about the Toyotas, and I'm never going to tell you how I'm going to buy or drive anything. I just want to look at them and waste your time for
I don't
5
understand.
hours.
That's
Dear
complete bullshit.
Lord, my goodness, these people.
Dude, AK is your name. I don't even understand. Can you just draw your diagram? I don't understand. Like the way you're describing it, I seriously don't understand.
All right. I can try to.
Well, I don't know what you mean by
Actually, I'm
horizontal
not
angle,
going
to
to
be
go through
honest.
the trouble of
I-
drawing
this
it back.
It could just be me being retarded, to be honest. But like, I just don't understand what you mean by measuring the horizontal angle.
Okay, so the horizontal angle just means like you set up for if you set up with a sextant, you measure a vertical angle, right? An elevation angle.
Yeah.
And you do the opposite of that. You flip basically it's not the same instrument that you would be using, right? But conceptually, if you flip the sextant on its side and then you measure angle side to side from one landmark to another, you aim at one landmark and put the arm of the sextant to the other landmark. That's the horizontal angle.
Okay, you're basically like saying like the you're trying to measure the 180 in the center of like 2 lines in the center.
Well, there is salad, but I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah.
Not
So
quite.
how do you know it shouldn't be 180?
I think Elijah, my bad. I
Well,
think
according to
Elijah's trying to come
Jordan-
in, but is Elijah trying to say something? I think he's low. Is he hot micing or no? I think he might be hot micing.
Which is interesting because you have to have a push to talk in this. So
I don't need push to talk.
really? I was prompted that I have to have push to talk. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
that's fine.
Why are you complaining so much?
Wasn't this guy's whole premise that light doesn't go straight? So how the fuck is he going to do his experiment?
Well, light
Yeah.
only refracts. Yeah.
Light refracts, so your measurements are off. That's why you're getting weird measurements, dummy.
But the
No,
cool
his
thing is-
argument is that he doesn't have an argument. That's his argument.
What the? Well, I can make arguments, but
Do you see
I'm
how
not-
easy you
I'm not
debunk
supporting
yourself?
something that I don't know, that I have not measured myself, and I don't know definitely which way, which way of the facts sway. the
That's
measurement.
great. Listen, do you see how easily you debunked your own self?
What did I debunk about myself?
No, the problem with your thing is that your primary argument initially is that you cannot take optical observations as some sort of indicator of reality because of celestial refraction, and now you want to use an optical
Not quite.
to make a measurement of a degree. So you can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's a problem.
Yeah, you already told us
I
it's
see
not
what you
trivial
mean.
to figure out what light is
Um,
doing. Hey, you already told us that it's not trivial to figure out what light is doing. You spent hours rambling about that. So how did you figure out what light was doing over these hundreds of miles where you're trying to
So,
measure angles?
That's the beauty of it.
since that's a wash at the moment, why not just how about this? have you heard of the forced line experiment? Measurement.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah. So would that, if someone actually executed that, would you then give up the globe?
What do you mean with give up the globe?
Meaning, if it showed
Giving up the globe would imply that I'm subscribing to it in the first place, right?
Okay, would
Because
you
since
accept
I
the
am
globe?
separating what I know and what I don't know,
Would you
and I'm
accept
not
that
making knowledge and not making a claim about knowledge
Sure,
of
that's
that,
fine.
I'm not doing that in the first place. So
Okay, that's fine. Let me finish my point then. I'm saying, so imagine if someone actually executed that in some fucking parallel universe where everyone got their shit together and actually did this, and the result was incommensurate with the globe, right? The current globe with its current specifications and
the
diameter and
result was
whatnot.
concave, by the way.
Huh? What?
The result of forcing the line was concave.
No, I don't think anyone's done it yet. But imagine if that was done, right? All the variables controlled, done perfectly, and the result was still fast. There wasn't the convergence that you would expect. Would you then concede that the globe, the current globe with its current diameter, radius, has been falsified?
If it's soundly reasoned and evidence that it isn't, then it's
We're assuming that it's done correctly and there's no error.
What's the problem with that?
Okay, so that's all. In my opinion, I think someone should do this. Some fucking billionaire. Fuck this shit.
Why are you on hypotheticals though?
All right, to address the fact that what I said is that it's not that you can't make observations and make physical conclusions from it. I'm just saying that you have to take into consideration that what you're using is optics, and then you have to take the path of light into consideration.
Sorry, mate.
Now, with what I proposed,
Hey Timbo, you're coming in real quiet.
A vertical change in position would not change the angle between the horizontal angle between the landmarks, and therefore the refraction that we're expecting in air, which is mainly an optical gradient vertically, would not affect the observation as much. Which you can also easily verify by seeing that the different measurements over different ambient conditions vary much less and are much easier attributed to reading variances.
I really have no idea what he's trying to say.
He's talking about measuring angles off of straight lines. Is that right?
I think he wants 3 landmarks, one landmark in the center, measure the angles on both sides to make sure that it adds up to 180.
Straight lines, point to point?
Yes.
Sounds like you're going to need them for angles. Okay, so where's the more than 180 coming from?
That is the question, and that would.
Well, if they're straight lines, there is no more than 180. So, yeah, good question.
Well, the only way that it could happen is that the verticals for those on those 3 different locations are not parallel to each other; they diverge, and then the angles would not add up to 100.
Just talking fast isn't going to help you any. Listen, you just saying dumb shit isn't going to help you any. There's straight lines. 3 straight lines connected is a triangle, is it not?
Well, you're not actually physically connecting 3 straight lines.
Oh my god!
You're having 6 distinct sidings, and two form a pair where you measure an angle each time, and then you set up your measurement device perpendicular to vertical at each location separately. So if those three
I'm lost as well.
On those 3 locations are parallel to each other, then your 6 distinct sidings that measure 3 different angles will be in 3 parallel planes, and you can conflate them. You can merge them together into one plane. It will be congruent to that. And then you have 3 sidelines that connect each other. But
just
if those
quick question, AK, on
verticals
that.
are not parallel to each other, then those 6 distinct sidings will be in 3 different distinct planes that are at an angle to each other. And then those different sidelines will not connect on straight lines. And that's why the angle can be higher than 180 if those 3 verticals are not parallel to each other.
What
Okay,
if you're
can
on
I
a
ask you some
concave part of
questions,
the Earth
please?
and not on a convex part? How do you know?
Then the angle that you're measuring with the setup would be lower than 180 degrees.
Yeah, so do you have any examples of that too?
Well,
I
wait,
personally don't.
wait,
I don't.
wait. As an observer, you have a horizontal line, right?
Eli, you said the word plane 4 times. Sort this out.
Yeah. So you go ahead, Adam. As a matter of fact, is this the first time you've spoken in here? Welcome, man.
I've listened a number of times. I've been listening to AK. I understand what he's suggesting. He's talking about the difference between a triangle and 3 points on the surface of a sphere, and 3 points on the surface of a sphere will give you different imagined internal angles of those 3 points on the surface of a sphere, which will be more than 180 degrees. That's just geometry. I agree. Have you got some demonstration of this? I mean, we can do it on Google Earth.
That's what we all been waiting
but,
for.
but have you got some demonstration of this? And if it is the thing that involved you describing a number of planes, which means all of the angles you take are off a flat linear surface, that's not really going to work as evidence. But can you demonstrate it in real world? I've been listening for a while, and
So it's not really
can
going to
do
work as
this.
evidence,
You can
despite
do
it
this.
differentiating a globe and a flat Earth.
No, well, that's a secondary fault in your logic, isn't it? That the assumption that if the angle is different, it means that the causation is sphericism.
What else could cause it? When the angles consistently
Well,
add up to
I
more
think
than
the
180
guys.
degrees, what could it mean?
Yeah, well, I think the guys brought you straight back to that earlier when you tried to say that, which was your earlier concession of refraction.
Well, okay, so you
That's
suggest
kind of a moot. It's a kind of a moot point, because if you're going to assume it, you need to demonstrate why. And the point I was going to ask you: have you got any real world examples of these angles? We can all do it on on a Google Earth and say, "Oh, look, the angles will be different." Have you got
well,
any real world examples of this?
there is literature on supposed measurements of spherical excess. That's how it's called, and there's also some. At the end, and at the end of the day, I realized that this is highly contested results at the very least, right? And but what I can tell is that the horizontal position, like left to right, relative to each other of landmarks, they do not shift. So refraction cannot affect that to a big degree or to big variance, because what I can observe is that the elevation angle, the height of something far in the distance, it might stretch, it might compress over different days and different conditions, right? And so refraction must affect that quite a bit. But where it's positioned left to right, that does not change.
That's not good in your world, is it? On
No,
a
it's
ball.
just an
No,
observation.
I know. Finish why? Yeah, I know. But if you just go, excuse me, you're just going to invoke refraction to bring things up above the horizon. That's fine if you think you're just looking over a hill. But of course you're not. You're looking over a ball. So as well as just falling away on the z-axis, away from you down, as well as doing that on all the other left to right positions, it's also falling away spherically in that way. So for it to render in any way flat means there's different refraction at all the points to render equal horizon, doesn't it?
But I did not actually presuppose that the refraction
I'm not presupposing anything. I'm suggesting the realization. What you suggested, what you stated as truth, that the horizon then renders flat. It's actually going to be the same points, just left to right, and to do so on a spherical surface would require different levels of refraction, wouldn't it? I'm not saying it does, and it has it, because it obviously doesn't.
I don't think I understand what you're saying.
Make that description of what you described as your observation of reality, that would be required if it was a ball, wouldn't it?
What would be required? What would be required to observe what? If it was
levels of refraction for it to be able to render as equal left to right. If the surface you were observing was spherical.
If I can interject, levels of refraction, changing the image up and down, changes your claim of plumb and therefore spherical excess.
It needs to change the total angle as well, doesn't it? Because some things are at the extremity of your vision have more angular variance from your center point to there. But it's also, therefore, you have to imply that it would also curve things horizontal or perpendicular to horizontal as well. It'd align that as well, wouldn't it?
Perpendicular to horizontal, vertical. Yes. That's the right refraction would be expected to affect observations in those cases.
That's the extremity of the claim, isn't it? If it were on a ball.
Not just if we're on a ball, like the realization.
No. There's no need for angular
the variance that we're observing in reality, independent of whether it's a ball or not, suggests that ambient condition change the vertical positioning and stretching and compression that we see of things far in the distance by a lot, and the left to right position not.
Exactly. I mean, if you're going to invoke compression or all those other things, all those other variants, they're still going to have to resolve a realignment of perpendicular to the horizon, which doesn't exist on the surface that you're supposedly viewing over. Will it? So as well as doing all of those things, it has to correct vision from looking over a ball to making it look, because of refraction, like you're looking over a flat plane. Or, of course, you could just be looking over a flat plane and you don't need these excuses. You can still include things like compression that you mentioned. Compression would still be wholly applicable. Yeah, when looking across a flat plane, angle of elevation, yeah, all of those things would be applicable. But what you don't need is the other apologetics that you don't want to discuss.
So he's overcomplicating it. Instead of going with the simplicity of the reality, he's overcomplicating it to make excuses for the fantasy.
I'm not trying to make any excuses or overcomplicate anything. I'm merely really trying to truly understand what correction and adjustment and why he's talking about and why they would be dictated. Like, I don't really understand
correction. There's no correction needed. We just see it. But if, as you described it in reality, as you viewed it, it's equivalent left to right. That couldn't be the case on a ball. The corrections, the apologetics that you're asking for are actually to do with only when you're viewing it across a spherical surface, as opposed to just seeing it.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Come on, bro. He's speaking perfect cohesive English.
Yeah, but I don't really understand how it all fits together. I'm sorry. Maybe I have a hang up here.
I also don't understand your visual setup anymore. I thought I did in the 180 degrees. I actually don't. I don't even understand it anymore. Could you just draw that? Like, literally just draw it.
Hey, I have a question for you.
He is correct there, guys. There's not a point to argue there. That's just a...
I know, but I don't understand.
Hold on a second. If I take a basketball, just the top half of a basketball, and I glue 3 1-inch straws on it, and I can see the top of each one from each point, and I measure the angle to each one of those from all 3 spots, you're going to tell me those equal more than 180 degrees?
Depends how you measure it. When you
No,
measure
Depends
the
what you do.
when you
If
measure the
you
horizontal angle between them, yes, then that will add up to more than 180 degrees.
You're wrong. I already did it. It equals 180 degrees.
Then you did not measure the horizontal angle between them. How did you measure the angle between them?
This is where flat earthers can make themselves look silly, just arguing incorrect geometry. No, it will do that if you take these funky angles, which aren't straight lines, remember. You've got to put, but how did you measure it? Did you put a bit of string over the top of your basketball, or did you generate a chord through the
Said
now,
I could see
if you
three
were,
straws.
dude, I'm explaining. Have
from
some
the
manners,
top.
please. I'm finished.
Okay, Adam. I said on the top, I could see the tops of all three from all three straws, meaning they were just on top of the basketball, all near each other. You could almost touch them with each other. That's how close. I didn't say they were on the other side and I had to draw a motherfucking cord through the ball. They were all visible, and you can see each one from the top of each one.
And how did you measure the angle between them?
Let me just go back to it just to make differentiation. I don't know why we're sticking straws out the top of it, but if we just stick with the surface, which is what we're dealing with in reality, and that's the important thing to remember, isn't
Wrong,
it?
Adam. He was talking about monuments sticking up off of the surface into the air. And three straws sticking off the top of a basketball would be the exact same thing.
If he was on a ball, measurements would need adjustment, wouldn't they? Because if it was in direct alignment, then of course there's going to need to be a change for angular adjustment, which I don't think he mentioned. I don't know if we need to get into that. What I don't want you to say is that, no, the claim that 3 points on a surface, if you take the supposed angles between those 3 points, and that's what I'm saying, you can't make an angle between those 3 points because there's no straight lines. If you were to stick a bit of string over and measure the angles that the bits of string measure, those curved lines, yeah, then they would equal more than 180. But if you were to take it and treat each line and create it as a proper segment, cutting through it, then it would still equal 180. But this is what ballers do, is they bring in this kind of argument as a distraction, because it's useful for them to argue that. But fundamentally, it's got nothing to do with the argument.
It's not a distraction, though. It was a serious proposition to try and differentiate the Earth as a globe, flat Earth, and see which way things sway in reality. And what you're actually physically doing is you're sighting, right? And then you're measuring a horizontal angle, and that is happening between actually when you're sighting and measuring azimuthal angle. It's actually an angle between two vertical planes. Right?
Sorry, between what?
Between two vertical planes. So you have the
planes. So two flat surfaces.
Yeah. Two flat surfaces, and they intersect at the plumb line at the location each time. And those are
so my point is if you're claiming refraction, then those planes will be up and down, will be compressed towards each other or away from each other. And this changes your claim of spherical excess.
Vertical planes extend.
Well, why are you interrupting him? Come on, Master, don't interrupt. He was speaking. He was speaking. Go ahead and finish your point, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're not plumb, you can change your claim of spherical excess by leaning backwards or leaning forwards. You can make that triangle exceed or decrease 180 degrees on your imaginary ball.
Well, then no, you couldn't, because then you wouldn't be
Yes,
measuring
you could. It changes your horizontal.
You would be measuring an angle on a plane that is not perpendicular to vertical. That is perpendicular to leaning back or forwards. You need to stay perpendicular to vertical. You need to measure the angle horizontally.
Right, and if you're refracted, you're not horizontal.
That is the method. Now, if it's refracted,
you're measuring 3 lines of sight.
If the sighting is refracted,
so you're measuring 3 lines of sight.
Your elevation angle to the target changes slightly, then it only it changes vertically. it doesn't change the horizontal position of the landmark.
Well, I still can't even visualize this entire thing, man. Why don't you just fucking drop a diagram? I may be
I
retarded.
can't be bothered. Tonight. Not tonight. I'm sorry.
It doesn't exist.
Do you have any actual data? I'm familiar with the claim, but do you have any actual data that demonstrates this?
Well, again, there's YouTuber. I think it's called.
No. I could cite.
He's doing it and demonstrating it, and then there's there's literature on spheric exist where this was supposedly measured. I did not do it.
That's not
It's
data.
like he has diarrhea of the mouth or something.
That's not data. I would cite to you the triangulation of India as proof that these all internal angles all add up. Yeah. But could you cite to me something that supports what you're suggesting, that this adjustment is required? Because it's easy to say you have to do it on a ball, and yes, you do. I wouldn't disagree with that argument. All of these things are being done on the ball, and you do have to make the adjustments.
He is repeating Jesse Gordon YouTube channel. That's all he's doing. Jesse Gordon's been in here. We've already taken him down.
Why does
just
that mean
keeps
I
on
can't
going.
finish a sentence?
Dude, I'm just telling you what he's repeating. Jesse Gordon. Do we want to keep going over that one?
Well, obviously, I don't need to by your judgment. I shouldn't, by the sound of things. Are you a mod, by the way?
All right, it doesn't matter. Let's move on with it.
Yeah. So is there any demonstration that the Earth is flat?
Oh my god.
Give me up.
Yeah, plane surveying.
A jack in here or something? Is that really how you do things? Or do we just move on? You don't read.
No, Adam, bro. No, Adam. The thing is, Adam. The thing is that Adam, that Masto has been here for hours, and he brings like almost the same draw conclusion. No, they want to move on from Masto because he's been speaking for many hours. He's been speaking for many hours.
He had, but it was me that was speaking in the middle of just a polite summation, and yet I was interrupted. That's what I objected to.
Oh no, yeah, no, definitely not.
You guys had muted him. I'd noticed that a couple of times. You'd have to mute him. My objection was to the fact that I was just politely talking. I get talked over. I asked about it, and then I'm told, "Whoa, let's move on." So
no, it's saying I didn't say move on from the topic. I said move on from the argument between you and Radwin.
That wasn't my point of contention, was it? My point was how I was rudely overspoken, and I'd bothered to say, "Come on." I think we'd all been overspeaking each other in the past, but we were a point of calm. And
that's why I said move on from the argument between the two of you and get back to the Glober.
It wasn't an argument. It was a point of why.
Sorry, so somebody presented a demonstration that the Earth is flat. What was that?
Okay, brilliant.
Somebody said something about planes. Does anyone want to represent that argument?
Yeah, why don't you check out the U.S. Coast Survey commissioned by Thomas Jefferson in the 1800s? It's all plane surveying. They used a plane table survey, which is like a theodolite attached to a drafting table. And they used horizontal control lines in order to establish their positions. And they create a network of triangles. And they did this before there was any ellipsoid datum to mathematically contort those triangles to. The date is 1806, and the guy who did it was a Swiss American named Ferdinand Hassler.
Ouch.
Yeah, the globe datum and surveying wasn't invented until about 30 years later. That was with the Bessel datum, and then after that was the Clark ellipsoid of 1866. So this preceded all of that.
Yes, Amish Earther, you made sense. I read your message.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
His name's Amish Aeronaut now. I love it.
It's Amish something every day.
But do you have an
Adam
Amish beard,
leave?
bro?
Did Adam leave?
Yeah, it looks like it. So I've been having a conversation in the side chat with Manufactotum and Chad Z, but Chad Z's not in here. Manufactotum, you're in here. And again, it's about.
There is someone new that asked the question. Did he got a reply to the reply he got, or no? Someone was asking for
proof of the flat Earth, right? Someone said that.
So he just asked the question. Someone replied, and he's gone or something, or what's going on?
Seems that way.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Why did Adam leave? I was just trying to get back to the topic.
He didn't like Radwin yelling at him and interrupting him.
That happens.
Well, actually, Adam will be pretty good to destroy at Master's argument, but we've been at Master is he's just gonna be arguing and talking nonsense.
And then we're gonna repeat
the
what
whole
we've gone
night.
over for the last 2 hours.
I didn't want to hear a rebuttal about or what do you call it? A summary of what we had talked about for the past 2 hours, either from Adam.
I kind of want to hear more about this physical measurement and survey that was done in the 1800s.
Look it
Samuel
up then.
Rowbotham?
Google it.
Nah, it's not. It's Pacific. What is it? Trans-Pacific.
This was the U.S. Coast Survey. It started on the East Coast. If you go to our 24/7 Flat Earth Discord and then look at the channels and look under Geodesy, you'll see it there.
Gotcha. I'll pull it up.
Yep, I posted a bunch of stuff on it.
1807?
Sounds about right. I think the first one was under deleted user, which was my old account.
Yep. I see it right here.
What do you want to know about it? Not you, Beasticles, but the other guy, the Aussie guy.
Oh, I don't know who asked about it. I'm just curious now.
I think it was that Aussie guy who comes in and hates flat earthers.
I was just interested about hearing about a physical measurement of a flat Earth.
Oh, you want to? What? There's plenty of them.
There's a lot of them.
Which one do you want to know about?
They all measure flat.
Like for real, for real.
But do they stand
everything
up to the
you
physical
do,
part?
everything you do practically. Go ahead.
Yeah, do they stand up to the practical and physical part?
Yeah.
What does that mean? That's a very bland. It's a very kind of nothing statement, isn't it? Can you be a little bit more specific?
Well, there's people who survey now, don't they? And they're measuring curvature.
No, they use planar surveying. They use planar surveying, and then they wrap it around a ball. That's what they do.
Don't you know that, Cal? Yep. Don't you know that they do planar survey and then they wrap it around the globe like from a math build?
Yeah, and their devices will bake in the ball as they measure. Like they don't even have to think about doing that part. And their surveys are usually over such tiny swaths that it doesn't really matter. It's very insignificant, the difference between whether it's flat or curved. So they just kind of put the curvature in there and they do these construction site surveys in order to assuage their troubled brains whenever they're looking for curvature everywhere and they can't find it.
Yeah. It's literally, there is no reason for them to do geodesic surveying other than to bring their Earth curved into sight. But like if you look at plane surveying, it literally says plane surveying is a common method of calculating land composition and topography that involves considering a set expanse of land as a flat plane. This kind of land surveying works best for small areas of land, in large part because the Earth is not actually flat. That's what they say.
That's said so that you wonder why when you do it over a longer range, you still get flat.
Right.
Do they though?
Yeah, they wrap it around a Clark spheroid. So the measurements. I'll find the measurements. It was page 60 of the so-called survey.
Yeah, the Arc of the Parallel survey. I think it's also on page 19 as well, and somewhere in the 20s. They describe the entire method. It's a mathematical operation. They take flat triangles and they apply some really fancy math in order, and they even said that they went through a selection process of choosing which ball and which dimensions that they thought would work best.
Yeah, they ended up with the Clark spheroid.
Does that still make it a physical measurement though?
And then they they actually give you the equation that they use from the 180-degree triangle that they measure. So it's not physical, no, it's a maths equation.
Conceptual. They start with a measurement, but then they pervert it.
Well, that's what the globe is, a perversion.
Yep. Just like in general, geocentrism worked perfectly fine for thousands of years. There was no justification for heliocentrism, like at all, other than to do a power grab, which we know.
Well, not necessarily, because geocentric is the ground, but the sky or the heavens above is not the ground. So you're saying geocentrism, you don't even know if the luminaries are heaven-centric or geocentric. We don't have an answer for that.
That's a good point.
I think they're heaven-centric. But if you say the universe is geocentric, then prove it.
True. Good point.
Basically, they look at the angular displacement of the stars in the sky and the sun and the moon. And instead of saying that that's in the sky, they say the ground has angular displacement. That pretty much sums up all of celestial nav, as well as some of this geodesy nonsense.
What happened, Cal? You still holding
to reverse that?
The globe? Go ahead, Cal. Are you gonna reply to what is being said?
I'm suddenly a flat earther. Nah, sorry.
You asked about geodetic surveying somehow proving the globe, but it doesn't. So do you have a reply for that?
To the words "it doesn't." I don't know. Do you want me to say it does?
No. Have you been listening to what the guy said or no? No, you haven't been listening then.
Do you want me to repeat what he said? Is that what you want?
Go ahead. Repeat what he said.
I won't be repeating what he said.
Okay. I said that they measure angular displacement in the sky, looking at the stars
I
and the
understood
sun
what
and the
you
moon.
said.
Okay.
I understood what you said.
I thought you wanted me to repeat it.
No, you're good. Someone else did.
All right, gotta go. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Later.
Later.
So geodetic surveying disproved the globe. You heard that, Cal?
Yeah, it's quite a statement. I disagree with it, but it's quite a statement.
Because you brought it up like it's proof for the globe.
No, I didn't bring it up like it was proof of the globe. I was interested in a plane survey. That's all. Honestly, I was interested in a physical measurement.
Like the kind you don't have for the globe? Interesting,
Yeah, like
double
this
standard.
guy's about to request from me. I just want to understand what a physical measurement is, honestly. Because I've seen the stuff from the globe, and you guys say it's not a physical measurement. I just want to see what you accept as a physical measurement, that's all.
What stuff of the globe you seen? What stuff? Can you be more specific? You say you've seen the stuff from the globe. What stuff is that?
Aerial surveying of Australia? All the whack maps? They seem to show, the shape of Australia and where it is, correct distances.
Where's the curve come in?
Would you like me to talk about what do you want me to talk about? I don't understand.
You guys never know what
you
conversation you're having, huh?
All right.
Did you say Australia?
Yeah, Australia.
Why not Bolivia?
I wasn't familiar with Bolivia.
I'm familiar with Bolivia.
Okay.
Bolivia has the flat lake, Salt Lake, with 4,000 miles squared, changing in elevation 1 meter.
So there's nothing to refute the shape of the Bolivian salt flats. Is that what you're saying?
No, so how something 4,000 square miles could be flat in 1 meter, changing elevation?
Well,
and
it's
not,
like you.
It's not.
You don't accept a physical measurement from me, and
you
I'm
don't
not accepting you telling me that you've physically measured a salt flat, right?
Okay, you don't accept this. That what you are saying, what we put with the black swan is showing 10 miles. They should be to drop 66, 20 meters, But you have here 44,000 square
I don't know.
miles. That is 6 times black swans of oil rigs, that Salt Lake. And, it should be 6 times bigger drop than on black swan. And look at the devil, it's only 1 meter.
Hello and welcome to
Why not Bolivia? Why Australia? Does Earth is curving in a way that in Bolivia it's flat?
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I don't know.
I was just talking about a physical measurement. That's all.
What am I
It's like
speaking
me telling you that
about?
it's been physically measured. It's not really going to be accepted by you. Like I'm not accepting you telling me it's been measured flat. I want to hear about the physical measurement. That's all.
I've put one in the live stream for you.
Thank you.
One measurement. I've got another fucking 100 if you want.
If you want to know your country, every elevation
This is a laser,
profile,
isn't it?
every elevation
Aren't you
profile.
assuming distances to places? Like, I thought it's a physical measurement.